Do you ever stop to think about the power that your words have over the people who hear them? Are they more likely to do good or to trust God or be grateful because of what you say? Truth is, most of the time we're completely unconscious of the influence that our speech really has. We're just speaking to be heard. We're speaking to vent our emotions. We're speaking for affirmation or approval or hoping for an outcome. Most of the time our influence just flies right over our heads, which is too bad because you've probably seen some of the damage that can be done by careless words or when someone should have spoken up and never spoke up. The damage can be catastrophic over time. Maybe you've known someone who was overly harsh or critical or just constantly complaining. Or on the flip side, maybe you can remember a situation where someone really needed to speak up and didn't, and you saw the fallout. Words are powerful, whether they're used or whether they're not used. And that's why Paul wrote this to the early believers as the goalpost for our speech. He said, "Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what's helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen." That's Ephesians 4:29. If you frame that up as a question, you'd ask, am I thinking about what they need to hear or what I want to say? According to Paul, it's God's plan that the spiritual community be like an oasis in the world where you have this committed group of people who are intentional about building up each other's relationship with their God. And so there's this intentional element, whether it be encouragement or teaching or confrontation or just a reminder to show gratitude, whatever it might be, whatever a person may need, that's what we're supposed to speak to. That's what we're supposed to pay attention to. And that wasn't just for everyone who was already a believer. Later on, he wrote this to the Colossians. He said, "Be wise in the way you act toward outsiders. Make the most of every opportunity. Let your conversation be always full of grace, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how to answer everyone." That's Colossians 4:5. Every exchange you have with someone who doesn't believe is an opportunity to glorify God as well. So make sure your words about others or toward others are gracious. And he says, seasoned with salt. Well, salt preserved and salt healed. It made things healthier in their time. So bottom line, in conversation, make sure that your words are being used to draw people to health. Help them see something that they need to see or focus on something that they should be focusing on. Be intentional. To make it simple, one, make it normal to ask yourself, is it what they need to hear or is it just what I want to say? Moment to moment, whenever we're in conversation, practice asking yourself this question, not out loud, but in your head. And it will check what you're saying. It will change how you shape and how you direct that conversation. Number two, for your sake, and especially if you have children, you need to get in a spiritual community of people who are intentional about what they say. We have to recognize the power that words have over other people, and especially for our own sake. The world is not careful about the messages that it sends. It doesn't seem to mind that we face discouragement every single day. It's true, we do. And that's why it's so important that we belong to a group of people who are committed to breathing life into us by what they say. If you don't know where there is a community like that, it probably means you're going to have to create one, which could be kind of intimidating, actually. To help you out, I just want to say it doesn't have to be super complicated. All you may have to do is just invite 2 or 3 people who are like-minded, who want to honor Christ with their lives. They're serious, and make a little pact to spend time with each other in ways that are simple and easy to get to know one another well enough to see what you all may need. Make a commitment with each other to build one another up and apply that to your speech as much as anything else that you do. Now you may say to yourself, I don't really have any experience like that. I don't really get inspired by that, but maybe you have plenty of experiences where you didn't have that and you felt completely alone or isolated when you were being tested, when your faith was under attack. Maybe you can feel right now how dark and isolating that was and how wrong that felt. And I just want to say to you that God feels the same way that you do about that situation. His plan is for people not to have that experience. for people not to feel so alone and dejected and just left in the dark for long periods of time with no encouragement. That's not how people are meant to operate, not in God's plan. And so however badly you may feel about the memories that you have, just know God feels just as badly and probably way worse about that situation. It's just not His plan. And if you're willing to step into a commitment of community with a handful of people, you could start to experience what God really has for people.